Hey Archivers fans, it's Meg. Today I'm going to show you how to make a floral rose using the McGill Paper Blossoms punches and tools. So let's get started. Alright, to make a floral rose, you'll need to start by punching all of your petals. And that's using the Floral Petals Punch from McGill. So there are 4 different sizes, as you can see on my mat here. So you'll need 6 of each. So it works if you have a 2-inch by 12-inch strip of cardstock like I'm using here, or pattern paper. So 2-inch by 12-inch, and you can get 6 punches all the way across. Alright, so I've got them all punched, and I also went ahead and punched my Alpine Snowflake, another punch from McGill, and this will be the base for my rose. Now, it's white, and you're probably thinking, okay, why is your snowflake white and your flower petals are pink? So it really doesn't matter what color your snowflake is, because all of your petals will be layered on top of it as you go along, so you won't see it at all. So this could be a bright neon blue petal if you really wanted it to be. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and shape all my petals first using the stylus in the McGill toolkit. So I like to use the biggest end, and I'm just going to kind of roll it around my petals just to give them a little bit of a curl. And this helps to soften the cardstock or the pattern paper, if that's what you're using, as well. And this just makes it a little easier to mold later when I'm using my tweezers. So I'm going to go ahead and do all of those. So then what we're going to do is to shape the petals, mold the petals using our tweezers. So I like to do a couple, 2 or 3 petals at a time, and that just helps the cardstock or paper to curl as opposed to just bending really harshly if you do just one. So I'm going to put 3 of the largest petals together, and I just like to curl them around like so using my tweezers. And then I like to pinch them in the middle to kind of create a little bit of a wave, and they'll flatten out a bit as you start gluing them onto the snowflake when you create your flower. So I'm going to go ahead and do all of that, and then we will start assembling our flower. With these little petals, I like to pinch them with my fingers instead of using the tweezers just because they're so small. And a lot of times when making the roses, you don't need to use all of the little petals just because of how the rose kind of fits together. So I'll just take a couple and just kind of roll them between my fingers to curl them. And then for the centermost petal, I take one of the little ones and roll it in a cylinder so it looks really small. So it'll only be, hopefully you can see that, about that big. I'll lay it down. You can see that better. So that'll be the centermost petal, and then these guys just get curled just a little bit so they kind of add to that rose. So now we can go ahead and start gluing our petals on. Now when I was shaping my petals, I also shaped the snowflake with my stylus, just like so, and it'll end up flattening out just a little bit too, so don't worry about that. So I like to start with the biggest petals on the bottom, and I like to put glue on just an extra piece of cardstock just to save my mat from getting messy. So we'll just go ahead and start gluing them around the snowflake, and like I said, you won't see the snowflake at all once you've got your flower together, so it doesn't matter at all what color it is. So there's my bottom layer of petals. Then I'm going to add the next size and just keep adding those around. And I like to try and add them where there's a little bit of a gap or an open spot, just so that I can kind of keep the layered effect going. Sometimes it's nice too to use the end of your stylus to press the little petals in there just because they're so small. It just helps keep the glue off of your fingers as well. And like I said earlier, you might not use all of these teeny little petals, so it kind of depends on how your flower is looking as you move towards the center. So sometimes I use 4, sometimes I use 2, really depends on the flower. And then there is my centermost flower that I folded all the way around itself. And that just gets popped right in there. And again, using the end helps, especially with that petal, to get it right in the center and to keep it from moving around on you. And there you have a beautiful floral rose using the McGill Paper Blossoms punches and tools.